What are early signs of an abusive partner? The feeling of walking on eggshells and going out of your way to make sure you don't do anything they don't like. When you start hiding menial things like eating without them because of the fit they will throw. Edit. The food situation was specific to my relationship. In other relationships it might be different. It stays with you for life. Kids raised in households where that happens stop being able to recognize neutral emotions, because they were raised around people who would snap from neutral to very angry in a moment. So a neutral face ends up feeling like someone might be mad at you. Someone that isn't, obviously, happy is probably mad, and you have to try to tend to them so they won't snap at you. This contributes a lot to those people that keep over-apologizing to people in adulthood. They can no longer tell the difference between someone not exhibiting happy signs and someone just being mad. So paranoia settles in if the other person isn't jumping with joy. When they try to prevent you from hanging out, or even talking to your friends and family. A lot of abusers get away with their behavior because they isolate their victims from people who would be able to support and protect them, and therefore make them completely dependent. My ex got so mad when, after a year being away, I got some time to hang out with my brother. We did typical brother stuff, but she was mad that he can make me laugh hard enough to not breathe. You know, just pissing around with my brother. Why don't you laugh that hard when you're with me? Because I've spent my whole life with him and I've only known you for 2 years? She'd pout and didn't want me spending time with him because we need to be that close. Joke's on her. A 28-year relationship with my bro is way more valuable than what ended up being a 4-year one with her. You can't question their opinions. If you feel like you have to put your own interests on the back burner in favor of theirs. If you feel guilty for doing something harmless and innocent that you normally like to do, just because you're afraid that they won't approve of it. If you offend them, it's your fault because you're an a-hole, but if they offend you, it's also your fault because you're sensitive. They'll belittle your hobbies and interests. Learn to play that song you've been practicing for months? Oh, okay, but they don't really care, because they don't care about piano music, and they made sure to tell you that earlier. Now you're just wasting their time because they want to talk to you about their own hobbies. And you'd better be interested, because they're important. Leaving a social event to go home because you know you have to and dreading coming home. Though really that can apply to lots of situations. I think one thing that sticks out with a past abusive partner that I was afraid of him going through my phone. Not because I was hiding anything, but because when he did he always found something to get mad about. Also, he could go through my phone anytime he wanted. But I never got more than a glance at the lock screen of his own. He also wanted me to install a tracking app within less of a month of us beginning to date. Guilt. Guilt everywhere. For every little thing, vastly out of proportion to how serious the issue is or how easily it can be fixed. Left the butter out of the fridge. Turned up 5 minutes late for something? Dinner was a bit longer than expected, or a bit burned? Well, that's the thin end of the wedge, just a little crevice that can be widened over time, until you start doubting your every action, because, contrary to what you might expect, there'll always be something they can latch on to no matter how careful you are. Can't you see all the things your partner does for you? Is it really too much to ask that you don't fuck up this one little thing? Really? Or is that beyond you? Honestly, why would anyone else put up with you if you can't even get that right? Very few abusive relationships start with loose fists. First comes the general breaking down of your self-esteem until you feel like you deserve it, because that's when they know you won't fight back or leave. Bingo. I hear people ask, why didn't he just leave? It's because step 1 in the abuser handbook is to make you believe that you deserve to be treated the way that they're treating you. Thinks they're funny, but every joke is belittling you. Not just on 1 or 2 of your characteristics, but every aspect of yourself is up for grabs and inferior. And then if you tell them to stop, you're being oversensitive and have no sense of humor. But holy hell, if you ever make jokes like that at their expense. You cannot have a good time with your friends. They emotionally blackmail you into bringing them along, and then sulk all the time, making you choose between friends, and so slowly you will lose touch with your friends and family, and your world is only your so. Prove me you like me more than your friends. Showing up where you are uninvited. Extreme clingy where you can't really do anything on your own. Also turning tables on you when you actually have a problem with something. somehow make you feel bad when you shouldn't feel bad. Another one to look out for is that person showing up at your work causing some sort of issue when it could be as easy as calling your job if it was very important, waiting until you get home or during your breaks. I know some people who had to deal with their partner blowing up their phones going crazy when they are working, etc. over the smallest thing. Example: didn't take out the trash before work. It's just not acceptable. Controlling behavior, always assuming control, and undermining your ability to do anything yourself. This can't be done quite subtly at first, with an air of pretended concern. I hate this. My ex would blame me for every little mishap. Oh look, you tried to hang curtains and they're uneven. Stupid girl, or, just let me fucking do it, you don't know what you're doing. Shit, he even got mad at me for not folding his clothes, right, when all he would do is ball them up and throw them in a drawer. It got to the point where I was pretty much having to choose between being called a lazy bitch for not doing something, or facing nothing but ridicule over everything I did do. It wasn't until the day after I kicked him out I realized how fucked up I had gotten. I tiptoed through the house, only to realize that I didn't need to anymore because nobody was there to make fun of how heavy my footsteps sounded. I ate what I wanted that day without anyone calling me a fat ass. I'm 180 centimeters and 72 kilograms. Got down to 65 kilograms while we were together. I watched what I wanted on TV without being called stupid. It took a while for me to stop second-guessing myself about everything I did. It's been about 6 months and sometimes it still creeps in, but I get filled with this uncontrollable rage and wish he was still around just so I could beat the shit out of him. Highly manipulative. When they accuse you of doing things you aren't doing, when they are the ones doing those things. When they do something, completely deny doing it, and make you seem crazy when questioning them about it. They have a complete lack of empathy or remorse for their behavior and actions, usually never apologize for anything. Will literally argue with you, provoke you, and agitate you, and will act like they have no idea why you are sad or upset. Yells at you, calls you names, gives you the silent treatment, lies, promises you the world, delivers nothing but shit, uses your love for them to get what they want, along with fear, guilt, confusion, etc. Oh, I could go on and on and on. My ex was extremely emotionally abusive. It fucked me up and he had me trapped. The day I had found enough strength and courage to leave his sorry, miserable ass was by far one of the best days of my life. 6 years of pure, manipulative shit. Proud to say today I am happier than I ever imagined I ever could be. Selfishness not being centered in self and balanced. I mean, they think about their needs being met, and are not concerned with your needs. People talk about control, and that's a big thing, the control, the isolation, the constant contact. But those usually happen slowly. They learn your boundaries, your comfort zones, and they nudge you out of them a step at a time until you're putting up with things that a previous you would never have tolerated. For the first month or two, the biggest warning sign that I can think of is when things move too fast. Like scary fast. Like you're not sure how you're feeling except that you're excited and a little off balance. There are lots of important relationship milestones, and if they're all coming together before you can really settle in and adjust, it could be that you're being kept off balance on purpose. Pushing the relationship to the next level while you're still emotionally dizzy from reaching the previous level keeps you feeling excited about the other person. You get caught up in the crazy momentum. Nobody's made you feel this way before. You aren't thinking clearly. There's no time for a foundation of trust and partnership. You feel wanted, you feel needed, and you're seeing them on their absolute best behavior to set the hook in your jaw and reel you in. Sex by itself isn't really a big milestone, usually. Dating culture has evolved enough that a lot of the preliminary compatibility discussions happen remotely, before the couple meets in person, and sex on the first date can still result in a long-term happy and successful relationship. I'm talking more like the I love you exchange, the family introduction, the cohabitation stage, the taking vacations together stage. Being criticized when doing the right thing. Loaded the dishwasher, yet didn't get the dishes stacked quite right? Vacuumed, but at the wrong time? Cooked breakfast for someone else. But really, who does eggs that way? Watch out for that. What are early signs of an abusive partner? Leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.